Dear students, welcome to our class on Mediterranean climate. The climate that, the Mediterranean basin, otherwise Mediterranean basin hosts the Mediterranean climate. This bit will come. Two bits I would like to share with you from your examination point of view. The first bit is the chief characteristic feature of Mediterranean climate is dry summers, wet winters. Dry summers, wet winters. This is the basic characteristic feature. Another bit is the Mediterranean Trinity is the Mediterranean Trinity. These are the bits 100% to come. The Mediterranean Trinity is what? What is that? Now, wheat, barley, olives. Wheat, barley, olives. In the bits you will find wheat, barley, oat. No, you should not tick there. Wheat, barley, olives are the Mediterranean Trinity. Another important thing you should understand as far as from bits point of view, from your SRF particularly point of view, subtropical ridge. This is the thing. This is the subtropical ridge. It determines the Mediterranean climate. It characterizes the Mediterranean climate. It controls the Mediterranean climate. How? The subtropical ridge, when it moves towards the either northern pole or southern pole, okay, on both sides you have, on both sides of the northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere, you have Mediterranean climates. Now, when the subtropical ridge moves towards the poles, either north or south, that is summer, dry summers. When it migrates towards the equator from both the poles, when it migrates, subtropical ridge migrates towards that is the wet winters. So, from your examination point of view, particularly SRF in agricultural meteorology, these bits are most common. So, from here, we try to understand what are the characteristic features of Mediterranean climate, how precipitation, how temperature, how vegetation. Just to give you an idea, there is a Mediterranean basin on both sides of the equator. There, just usually, most of the Mediterranean basin, see Jerusalem, say this Cyprus, both sides of the equator they are there. Outside the Mediterranean basin also, outside the Mediterranean basin, there are climates. Usually, to the western sides of the continents, each continent of the western side, so these Mediterranean climates exist in the middle latitude, around 40 to 50 degrees latitude. So, on the western sides of the continents there. Again I repeat it, bits will come like this. A. Mediterranean climate is found only in Mediterranean basins. Mediterranean climate is also observed in outside the basin. A, B. First A and B are correct. Only A is correct, B is wrong. Like that, That's why I would like to impress upon you that Mediterranean climate, it's not only the Mediterranean basin, outside the Mediterranean basin, say for example California in USA. For instance in Perth and Adelaide. These are the kind of cities which experience this. That's why. So outside the Mediterranean basin also, but this is the Mediterranean climate. What is the characteristic feature of Mediterranean climate? Number one, dry summers, wet winters. Dry summers, almost opposite to monsoon climate, almost opposite to monsoon climate. So this is what. Now, in the monsoon climate, as I said, in the summer months, you get the 90% of the rainfall in the Southeast Asia, particularly India. So in the winter months, you get around 10% of the rainfall, mostly because of the western disturbances. So here. Now, these are the basic things as far as vegetation is concerned. Please note that a bit may come. That's what I told 2 minutes back. Mediterranean Trinity. What is that? Wheat, barley and olives. Not wheat, barley and oats. You generally students get confused with that. Another thing is the grapes, the nuts. Okay, grapes. These are the most important vegetation that you find, because dry summers extends almost 5 to 6 months. Very dry. Very wet season occurs for 6 months. So aquatic population have to withstand the droughts. Plants and animals also shall withstand. So that's why Mediterranean climate produces grapes which are very, very, very high quality. You can say some other crops. Okay, I discuss with you as the class goes on. Now, here the introduction. Mediterranean climate is also known as dry summer and wet winter climate. Now, basic characteristic features of Mediterranean climate is dry summers and wet winters. Okay. In other words, in some books you will find mild wet winters. No, I say it's wet winters. Now, so the climate receives its name from the Mediterranean basin where this type of climate exists. Okay, that I tell you what are the cities under the Mediterranean basin after a couple of minutes. The most important bit, that's what I told, subtropical ridge, which determines the Mediterranean climate. Now I read the statement. When subtropical ridge moves towards the poles on both sides of the equator, in both hemispheres, it is summer, dry summers, no rain, very, very rare. Now, when it migrates towards the equator, subtropical ridge migrates towards the equator, we get the copious amount of rain. So, now, the statement in the form of bits which would appear in the exam. I just read only once again, only once, okay? The main cause of Mediterranean or dry summer climate is the subtropical ridge, which extends towards that hemisphere poles during the summer. They extend up to hemisphere pole during the summer and migrates towards the equator during the winter, due to, the reason is also due to increasing north-south temperature differences during north and south, northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere temperature difference. That's it. Okay, this is what. Now, so as far as the Köppen's classification is concerned, so they come under the dry summers. That's what I told. Wet winters, cold dry summers. Okay, and hot dry summers, cool dry summer. Again, as the hot dry summer is that, cool dry summer is the basis. Hot and cool is added in the Köppen's classification. The dry summer climates usually occur in the western sides of the continent. That's what I told 2 minutes back. Mediterranean climates occur in the western sides of the continents. So the Mediterranean basin usually, so Algiers, Athens, Barcelona, Casablanca, Jerusalem, Rome. This is the Mediterranean basin. Now, so with reference to precipitation and with reference to temperature, some basic characteristics. Precipitation occurs in the Mediterranean climate during the winter. Okay, wet winters. In some books you will find mild wet winters. The bit may come mild wet winters. That time you should not get confused. Wet winters or mild wet winters. That's it. Now, precipitation during the summer, as I said, during the summer, when the subtropical ridge moves or extends towards the poles on both sides of the equator, so there is no rain. Okay, so it's very, very dry. Now in the winter, the subtropical ridge migrates towards the equator, making rainfall much more likely, and as a result, areas with this climate receive almost all of their precipitation during their winter, to some extent the summer, spring. Winter, after winter you got the spring, so that's why winter and spring in some areas, but majority is during the winter. Of course, 4 to 6 months dry summers, again 6 months wet winters. So what is the temperature? So this is with reference to precipitation. Temperature, see, all areas irrespective on the globe, 1/3 is the land, lithosphere, 2/3 is the water, all areas on the globe, as the height increases, so the temperature decreases, which is not an exception for the Mediterranean climate. That means higher elevation areas, 2000 meters, 3000 meters, which are located in the middle latitudes, particularly western side of the continents, there the temperature is less with reference to temperature. So very clear. Mediterranean climate has no exception with reference to height above the mean sea level altitude. So as the altitude increases, the temperature of the air decreases. So second thing is, majority of the regions with Mediterranean climate have relatively mild winters. Winters are mild and very warm summers. So this with reference to temperature is concerned, mild winters. You need not to have sweaters or anything. Very warm summers. Okay, good. So, because most regions with the Mediterranean climate are near the water bodies, most of the cities, that's what is class of Bangkok, say whatever it may be, on the coast of the, not coast, on the sea, and sea covered or ocean covered areas are Mediterranean climates. Now, the temperature between winter low and summer high, okay, they moderate. See, because Mediterranean climates are moderated by water bodies. See, 2/3 are the hydrosphere, 1/3 is the land. Particularly as far as this Mediterranean climate is concerned, in the Mediterranean basin and outside also, the water bodies of seas and oceans, moderate the temperature. That's why not too hot, not very, very, very cold. It is cool, mild winters. So, because they are moderated by huge water bodies of seas or oceans. This is with reference to temperature and vegetation, as I said. See, vegetation for your academic interest, coming to the evergreen trees, eucalyptus, casuarina, cypress. Deciduous trees, olives, and oaks. Oaks are the deciduous trees. Fruit trees, grapes, nuts, fig, olive. Grapes, nuts, fig, olive. The trinity of Mediterranean trees are water. Wheat, barley, olive. Olive is there. So they are grapes, nuts, fig, olives are the best fruits. You get it. Some grasses, shrubs, and all this you will find. And finally, I would like to impress upon that the aquatic populations, they should withstand drought, because 5 to 6 months are extremely drought. When can you tell me? When the subtropical ridge extends to poles on both sides of the equator. However, there is a copious amount of rain during the winter season. So, the aquatic population, particularly because water is, as you know, during the dry months, water is scarce, so they have to survive. So, they are adapted. The aquatic populations are adapted to Mediterranean climates. That's number one. I would like to impress upon you. Another important thing is, aquatic communities, in other words, dominate the climate and then survive. In other words, so these are also seen. So as far as the vegetation is concerned, in certain parts of the globe where this Mediterranean Mediterranean basin and outside is concerned, okay, Mediterranean climates are what is the vegetation? For example, Garrigu, Garrigu, Marquis in the Mediterranean basin. This is the vegetation. Chaparral, Chaparral in California. Fynbos, Fynbos in South Africa. Mallee in Australia, okay, and Matorral, Matorral, Matorral in Chile. So these are the vegetation that you find in the Mediterranean basin. Now, so to sum up the climates, beloved students, please note that I tried to cover, okay. First, maritime climate. Second, continental climate. Third, monsoon climate. Fourth, Mediterranean climate. So these are the 4 climates from agriculture meteorological point that you should learn from your bits and from your questions in the national ability test, even during the interviews also. That's what I covered. Other things, Köppen classification, Hargreaves, there I have covered extensively. So thanking you very much for your very patient hearing.